in higher education. It's continuing to develop a flexible education system that really meets the demands of kids, their passions, and what their potentials are. It's continuing to improve the infrastructure. It's tax reform to get the income tax down. The job training is a very, very big deal for us so that people are qualified to take jobs. And then we've got this whole business of trying to involve the community again in the lives of the community so that we can restore a lot of the erosion of values that we've seen in not only in our state but in our country. Whether it's personal responsibility, hard work, discipline, respect, compassion. I mean, these are things. So you've got programs to try to drive the citizens into taking their values and making sure that people understand those values and can adopt them because the country was built that way. This is going to be a very big effort on our part in the second term because I think it's one of the most critical issues in the country today. So we created community connectors. You can get a $3 match for every dollar you spend. If you connect to a school, if you're tutoring, mentoring, directing, guiding. I mean, this is all about trying to get the citizens of our state engaged in rebuilding our culture, our value system. And yeah, I could go on for about an hour about all the things we have to do, but and a lot of it is going to be more of the same and better of what we're currently doing.
You mentioned that the local economic development agencies need to do a better job.
I'm saying there's some that are doing a great job, and there's some that don't.
But okay, in your mind? What are some differentiating factors between the ones?
Aggressiveness. Going around and trying to determine what it is that you have that is unique unto you, and getting feelers out there about where these jobs, can potentially come from. And there's some places where they're very good at it, and there's other places that, it's just kind of a job. I think economic development has to be a passion, a calling. And I'm not saying that your communities don't have that. I don't know, but I know when I meet with Jobs Ohio, we find different grades of people that are really engaged and enthusiastic about this. And we do our own measurements in there in terms of the people we work with, that are around the state. But you have to be creative. You have to be in a position of where what works best for you. And then you can come to us, because we don't want to run this from the top down. We want to run this from the bottom up, that you tell us, and then we get our folks out there. And so the more aggressive these folks are. Now, I have to tell you, we're not going in there to just throw money at people. We're not going to do that. You don't need to do that. But we've got to get the ideas. Now, one of the things we have to do that I didn't mention is, again, I didn't bring any notes in or anything, but we have to market this state. And, I've asked Les Wexner to help me on this, to think about a very good marketing plan for Ohio, because once people come to Ohio, they don't want to leave. But got to get them here. And so we've got to tell the world, and literally the world, about who we are, about what we do, about the quality of our people, our location, the stability of our government. And that will help us too. And to sell, for example, if you take Southern Ohio, I don't think a good job has been done for 50 or 100 years in terms of saying, look, you locate a business there, you've got good transportation, you got rail, you got water, you got highways, you can open a business, you can basically reduce the cost of your business. You got to be thinking about all kinds of things. Like I'm telling my guys now on oil and gas and ladies. Okay, so we know we're drilling, fine. We know we're going to build pipelines, fine. Pipelines are good, people can tap into them. They can lower the cost of energy for their operations. But I want to know about the polymers, the advanced materials. I want to know about what you are doing to explain to companies that you need to be in here as sort of a first mover, because this resource will be good for 50 years or longer. So what are we doing to make sure that everyone who could potentially come in here knows about this. So you have to constantly be aggressive in thinking about, what's next. Sort of like Right Pat. It's like, okay, what can we do to get more of the business needs of Right Pat over the fence? You just want to be thinking aggressively about, what the potential is. Do you have rail? Do you have, do you have good access in and out? Are you close to a freeway? I mean, all these things really matter. In agriculture, take agriculture. What about these food services? What not just the corn and the wheat, but what else do you have that's connected to it? Because frankly, when it comes to companies like Smucker's, we got a great opportunity to do more. I think in this state. Now somebody's got to tell me, no, we can't do any more. So what I try to do is keep thinking about what else it is we can bring here. And your communities, the more they generate ideas, the more it helps us. Does that make sense? And I'm not putting your folks down because I don't know how they're doing. I don't come in here with an assessment. I just know that it's important that economic development really be driven strongly from the local area. But I want to also warn you, some of them think, well, why don't we just give all this money away? And we're not going to do that. It's not necessary.
Did you say the state kind of tracks the performance of individuals?
Well, with the ones we fund, because we have these regional economic development people, and we judge them.
Local ones?
Yeah, no.
You mentioned the income tax, you mentioned